South Bay lawmakers are leading an effort to ban leaded aviation fuel nationwide. It's an issue that first gained traction when health concerns were raised about families living near San Jose's Reed Hillview Airport. And then last week, the Environmental Protection Agency announced it had determined lead emitted from small airplanes is a danger to public health. That determination could potentially open the door to the EPA putting limits on leaded fuel in aviation for the first time. Those regulations would only affect smaller planes since commercial jets do not use leaded fuel. For more on this, we're joined now by South Bay Congressman Khanna, one of several members of Congress calling for a ban on leaded aviation fuel. Congressman, thank you for the time. Always good to see you. What is the significance of the EPA saying leaded fuel poses a public health threat?
Well, it's been obvious to many of us who represent the South Bay. I mean, I heard stories from parents about their kids and the exposure to the leaded fuel from the airport in East San Jose. We had the Board of Supervisors in Santa Clara unanimously find that the leaded fuel in the blood of children in East San Jose was at the levels of Flint, Michigan. And I convened as chair of the Environment Committee a year and a half ago when we were in the majority hearing to bring all of this to light. And I am so glad finally that the EPA has recognized the harm. The airport in East San Jose does not have leaded fuel, but we need a nationwide ban on this.
Yeah, there is a ban on leaded fuel in Santa Clara County. Important to point that out. But obviously it would appear momentum for a nationwide ban. How much more likely is it now that the EPA has made this determination about the risks of leaded fuel? How much more likely does it make it that we will eventually see a nationwide ban?
I think it's the first step. I mean, as you know, in Washington, everything takes too long to actually happen. But this is the first step to acknowledge that this is harming our kids, that this is harming residential communities. And now we can work towards the nationwide ban. It also gives Santa Clara County and San Jose much more leverage as they wind down the airport in East San Jose with the FAA. They can make sure that they are making a ban on leaded fuel. In the past, the FAA was actually pushing for them to supply leaded fuel. This makes that impossible.
All right. From a practical standpoint, can we talk about what the challenges would be if you do have a nationwide ban on leaded fuel that's put in place? The EPA says there are roughly 170,000 smaller planes in operation across the country, all of them still using leaded fuel. How quickly would we be able to actually phase out that type of fuel?
Well, they can transition. There may be initially a little bit more cost, as it is in Santa Clara County. But I guess the question is, do you want to impose a little bit more cost on an alternative fuel for airplanes, smaller airplanes, or do you want blood of kids having lead in it? And to me, it's a pretty obvious moral choice. Look, I had protests and people standing against the actions we were taking to ban leaded fuel in Santa Clara County at the airport because there were pilots and they didn't want to do that. And they had a strong lobby. But Zoe Lofgren and myself, we stood with the residents, and we're going to continue to do that. And I think eventually that'll happen in this country.
All right, we'll continue to follow it. We appreciate your time as always, South Bay Congressman Khanna. Yeah.